All right, I had a whole script written out to teach you how to make this recipe, but I realized that after the fact, the editing was kind of bad. So you're gonna take a can of crushed tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce. You're gonna get those in a pan over medium-high heat. You're gonna add in a tablespoon of basil, oregano, and thyme, and 2 tablespoons of sugar, a half a tablespoon of salt, and a tablespoon of white vinegar. If you don't want to use sugar, you can chop up a carrot, kind of big chunks, and put them in with the sauce while it boils. You're gonna combine all that together, get it up to a boil, lower the heat down to like low to medium, toss a lid on that. It's gonna go for 20 minutes. You could do this, you can start super early on this if you wanted to and let it go for up to like 2 hours. You need a cup of cooked rice. I've got jasmine rice that I've rinsed out here. Get the water up to a boil, throw in your rice, loosely tent with foil, turn the heat off, let it go for about 15 minutes. For the cabbage, you're gonna wanna cut about 1 inch from the bottom of the cabbage, just so you can get at the leaves easier once you're done. You'll see in a little while. After cutting that chunk off, you peel off the outer layer of the cabbage just to get rid of any, unsavory bits. Get that cabbage set up, and then we're gonna chop up our onion. I've got 3/4 to an entire onion here. For simplicity's sake, you could do an entire onion. I think I ended up saving 1/4 of the onion for breakfast the next day. 4 cloves of garlic, minced up as best you can do. You're gonna get about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of oil in a smaller pan for the onions. Get that warmed up so that it's ready to go, and then you're gonna throw your head of cabbage into a pot of boiling water. It doesn't have to be full because the boiling water, obviously, you're gonna make a mess. You just wanna soften that cabbage up. So this part of the video, for some reason, I focused really hard on stirring these onions. You just wanna cook the onions for about 5 minutes. I don't separate my onions when I chop them, so I'm separating them here with a spatula, sort of getting them separated so they cook evenly. We're not trying to get color on these onions at all. We just kind of want them soft. So I hope you're into onion stirring. So you let the onions go for about 5 minutes just to soften them up. And then once they're 4 to 6, 5 minutes, you throw in your garlic and then stir it back up. You're gonna cook the garlic with the onions for about 2 minutes. This is gonna smell amazing. Just so much stirring. All right, the sauce, after about 20 minutes, it'll thicken up a little bit. You're gonna take it off, let it start to cool. And you're gonna stir the onions a 3rd time. So your garlic starts to cook, your onions are nice and soft. You're gonna take them off the heat as well. That cabbage is gonna go 10 to 15 minutes with the cabbage. You don't want it, mushy, but you want it soft. So you can do this part. You're gonna peel. There's gonna be a lot of water, so just be mindful of that. When you take the cabbage out of the boiling water, you're gonna want to rinse it under some cold water to stop the cooking process, or else it will continue to get mushy. And you're gonna do your best to peel off. You can probably use the knife to aid in this. I do here a couple times. Yeah, just get at the bottom, the stemmy parts of the leaves. You might even want to cut the cabbage like 1/4 of the way through. Might help some. I had some difficulty with some of the leaves, as you'll see coming up, but really you just want to keep as much of the leaves intact as possible here. And you only need, I think I did 6 for this batch, but you could do, 6 to 10 to 12, depending on how big your cabbage is, how big the leaves that you get are. Let's really peel that down. The rice is done. We're gonna give it a stir, fluff it up, make sure it's nice and tender. We're gonna chop up some more of that cabbage. You're just chopping up, rough chop. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You just want a bed for your rolls to sit on. You don't want them to sit directly onto the pan to prevent them from cooking unevenly. So you ideally would like a 13x9 pan. I had a couple smaller pans. They work just as well. You're going to set some of that rough chopped cabbage there on the bottom of the pans. Like I said, little bed for your rolls. Compelling stuff. I'm going to clean up a little bit here. Bada bing, bada boom. So you're going to take about a pound of minced lamb, a cup of cooked rice, your onions and garlic, add in another tablespoon of oregano and a tablespoon of basil, a little salt, a little pepper, and you want to combine that up by hand just to make sure everything's incorporated. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start to form them into little logs. You see these little log patty fellows here that I've got. And then you're going to take your cabbage leaf, cut the stem part so it's easier to roll. You're going to set your log right into the leaves. That's some difficulty getting the leaf set up here, but set your log into the leaf and then roll it up, tuck in the sides, and set it right on the bed of chopped cabbage. And I'm going to make you sit here and watch me roll all 6 of these. And it's very important that you understand how to take a lump of meat and roll it inside a piece of cabbage. It's not something that you just get from watching it one time. You've really got to watch the entirety of the thing. So one thing I noticed from this recipe, what I would have done, I would have probably, like I said, cut the cabbage directly in half. Oh, good. So we got the rolls. We didn't do all 6. So you got the rolls. You bring the sauce back at this point, and you're just going to want to smother the rolls in the sauce. You're just going to ladle that sauce. You really mix it up. And this will help further, like when you go to cook, you're not going to dry out the cabbage. Because cabbage takes a while to cook. So when this is in the oven, you're going to want that sauce on there to keep everything nice and moist. And once you've got your sauce coated over the cabbage rolls, you're going to put them into an oven preheated to 350 degrees for about 45 minutes.